Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
I've noticed as of late, you're getting a handful of calls every week from our radio audience of people just looking for that second opinion. Yes, they've got questions about their 401k, about their retirement, about their pensions, but really second opinions seem to be really popular right now. Why do you think that is?
You know, Mark, it really is important. And people are wondering why. Why do I need to go talk to someone? You know, we just got through tax season, and that always gives people agita, right? I paid too much money. I didn't get enough money back. Something's going wrong. And my opinion is that when they talk to their financial advisor, maybe it's a big box firm, they're not responding. They're not answering their call. Maybe you're that person that you've saved $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, $1 million, and you're not big enough to work with them anymore.
Right.
And they push you off somebody else. That's really why people are coming in to get that second. And it's great to get a second opinion. Let's think about this. If you're in an accident or you have a situation, you go to the doctor, and he wants to operate on you immediately. I go another person. I want to talk to the other doctor. Maybe you can do us holistically. Maybe we can work on this. I don't want you to cut my body open. Right. So second opinions are great. Why do people think it's hard to do here? And it's really funny. We had a couple come in last week. It was Arnold and Sharon. And they came in just for that second opinion. They had their taxes done. They were confused about what's going on. They felt no love. And when they come in, we talk, and one of the things I ask is, so why are you here today? Why did you come here, guys, to talk with us? And they said, our financial advisor lost our trust.
Yep.
That's huge. Because, you know, it takes a really long time. My mother would always tell us, Mark, it takes such a long time to build trust and people believing in you. But it literally takes a moment to take it down. And Arnold and Sharon felt there was no trust anymore, no love being given to them, no respect being given to them. When they came into the office, they got a chance to sit down with myself and my team. They met Angie. They had a chance to meet Achilles. They met Jared, and they met Ernie Calais, who we have a strategic business partnership with, who's our CPA in-house, to look over their tax return, to see where they were going, how we can make this better, and how to put you in the right place. But, you know, you have to take advantage of this opportunity. It has to take advantage of that, you know, no cost, no obligation to come in and get that second opinion. Yep. Get the new set of eyes to look at you. Folks, if you save $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 plus, you've worked hard. And what's that? It's your 401k, your TSP, your 403b, manage my CDs, things we have earmarked for retirement. You give us a call, 302-330-2166, 302-330-2166. Come in and let's get those questions answered, just like Arnold and Sharon had. Let's see how we can put you in the right place. See if your advisor's helping you do what's right for you. Because there's a lot of questions, Mark, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, how do I take Social Security, George? When's the right time to take Social Security? Am I paying too much in taxes? How do I get around paying taxes legally and morally acceptable? That's what we're here to help you with. And when you come into the office of 501 Silverside Road, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809, we're right down the road here, folks. You're going to come in, you're going to meet myself and the whole team, and we're going to start the process to see how we can help you be in a better place. Call us at 302-330-2166, 302-330-2166, and let's schedule that no cost, no obligation meeting today.
And a lot of questions about taxes, about how am I going to have a tax strategy in retirement? And let's talk about a Roth versus an RMD a little bit here, because when you were first born, your first RMD is going to be due whether you turn 73 or 75, and that continues annually because Uncle Sam has to get his cut in taxes. I want you to hear this clip from tax guru Ed Slott, who says one way to help is to convert some of that IRA into an after-tax Roth. He tells Morningstar,
So if you're in RMD territory, you have to take the RMD. You must take it and you pay tax on it, and it cannot be converted. Once you satisfy that year's RMD, then any part or all of the remaining IRA balance can be converted, but it costs more because you had to pay the tax on the RMD, which couldn't be converted. Best time is usually like in your 60s. Do a series of maybe smaller annual conversions over time. In a perfect world, you get rid of your whole full IRA before 73, then you have no RMDs and you have a tax-free Roth.
All right, break that down for me, George.
Yeah.
Talk to me like I've never heard this before. Explain the difference, the Roth versus RMD, and how it can help my tax situation.
Absolutely, Mark. First off, an RMD, folks, stands for Required Minimum Distribution, RMD. And as Ed was saying, think about this. If you went into a traditional 401k, a TSP, a 403b, an IRA, you put in the money in those accounts in pre-tax dollars. So, for example, if you make $1,000 per pay and you put 10% into your 401k or one of those other instruments we just talked about, they're going to take $100 off the top, and then they'll tax you on the $900 difference. So that traditional IRA, 401k, TSP, so forth and so on, has grown totally tax-free until you start taking distributions, or, as Ed just pointed out, you hit the required minimum distribution age, which right now is 73, and over the next 8 years is going to gradually move up to 75. And why? Well, the government, have you seen our national debt?
$34 trillion and growing by the second.
It's a great thing, isn't it? How we can spend money that we don't have and give to others. But they want their piece of your skin, your blood. And that's what RMD is. They want to start getting their money back. So how do you take away from that and get it someplace we don't have to worry about it? Now, before we go any further, Mark, I think you know this, but I make sure folks know, I love our country. Mm-hmm. We are so blessed to be here. I hate the way they spend our money.
You're not alone.
And as a retiree, what are your biggest concerns, you think, as a retiree? Taxes and medical costs and long-term care, right? Those three items are our biggest concerns because we have no control over them. Folks, if you're like me, I like to have control. I like to know what's going on, how it's going to work, where we're going to make it go, where I can funnel my money to work for me most efficiently and best way. Mm-hmm. So when we get to the Roth, I know taxes are going to be higher in the future, whether we want to believe it or not, whether this administration stays in or if a new administration comes in November, January, taxes more than likely in 2026 are going to go up. But if we can get ahead of that, and that's being proactive, right? We just talked about taxes a second ago, didn't we, Mark?
Yep.
About people come in and say, second opinion.
What's my tax strategy? Yeah.
Right. The person that did your taxes did what? He looked at what was like last year. Yeah. How am I going to minimize how much you owe? How am I going to make it, get you a little more money back or minimize legally and morally acceptably how much you had to pay? When you come in the office and you work with myself and my team here at Politarhos Wealth, we're being proactive. And as Ed said, you don't take all of your qualified money and make it today and go into a Roth account. We're going to gradually do this as we go. And that's where Ernie Calais comes in so well with this team. Because, folks, it has to make sense when you do something. So you're going to convert some money from those qualified accounts and make it into a Roth. But we have to do something with that, right? We have to pay tax on it now. That's right. I want to minimize that as much as possible because I know the backside growth will make up for it and get us a better place.
Yeah.
When you come in and you sit with my team here and me, we're going to go through it and we're going to do a financial analysis, the Family First Retirement Plan for you. We're going to go over your income today and what your income is going to look like tomorrow, really. We're going to talk about expenses. How terrible of a word is that, right? How much we're going to make you think about those expenses. We're going to go over Social Security. How we're going to take Social Security. How's it going to work for me and not me working for my Social Security and some of the gaps and pitfalls. But we're really going to hit hard on taxes. And when we see this, we're going to lay it out for you. And you're not going to get a stack of papers that sounds like War and Peace when you're trying to read it.
Right.
It's going to be a one-page breakdown to show you what it looks like today, if we do a recommendation, what it looks like tomorrow, and how it's going to benefit you, and even more importantly, in my opinion, your spouse, your children, and grandchildren down the road. So when you call us at 302-330-2166, 302-330-2166, or go to Patria, Patria, wealth.com, and schedule that no-cost, no-obligation meeting. We'll start to see how it looks, when it makes sense to do it, how much it makes sense to do, and how it will benefit you tomorrow. Folks, if you're one of those people out there that have done everything right, you worked hard, right? You've saved $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 or more for your retirement in those qualified accounts and the savings and the CDs and managed money. Give us a call. Let us start working with you to help you get in the right place. If nothing else, I'm going to take the gray out of retirement because retirement's really confusing, I think. And we're going to make it very black and white. So black and white that we're going to be able to list it down in a one-page format so you'll be able to see it and understand how it's going to work, why it's going to work, and if it's the right move for you. Because at the end of the day, it has to make sense. It has to fit what your plan is in life, not what the guy next door or your brother's plan is, but what your plan in life is, and to benefit you and your family. Call me at 302-330-2166. That's 302-330-2166. And let's schedule that call today.
You mentioned football. Well, man, I mean, we're always seeing, full transparency. I'm down here in Atlanta, big Georgia Bulldog fan, SEC football over here. And it's been a couple of months since Alabama football coach Nick Saban has called it quits. Now, he recently told ESPN that it really didn't take long in his retirement for his wife, Terry, to give him his marching orders. So he's used to barking at his players and coaching his players. Well, now his wife does the same for him.
The day after I retired, I got the 12 commandments of retirement. So I've tried to live by them, but I found out that if I do my chores, then I can go play golf. So I get up early and get my chores done. And then it's like, now do I have a free pass to go do what I want to do?
What are your chores?
I make my bed. I take the garbage out. I have to wait for her to eat together, and I have to leave a little food just because that's polite to tell people that you really thought it was good.
His chores sound like the same chores I give my 11-year-old daughter.
11-year-old kid.
Make your bed. Be polite.
You be a good boy, Nick.
Be a good boy. The big, bad, mighty Nick Saban. Miss Terry, can I eat now? No? Okay, I'll wait.
Guess what, though, Mark? Anyone that says and this is George talking only, folks. My wife, Leslie, you've heard me say this before, she is a beast.
In the best way possible.
She is great at everything she does. And words can never express how grateful I am for everything she's done for me and the boys. But when she says something at home, I am not the boss.
Yeah.
If Leslie said today was X, I'd be like, oh, it has to be X. Leslie said it. So listen to his wife, first off, is the best retirement advice I can give somebody. I'm happy for him.
Let's talk about that then. What are some of the commandments? Let's talk about retirement commandments. Are there any that you tell people? Like, what are some of the things that in retirement make sure this happens and this happens and make sure you take care of this?
I think the biggest retirement advice I can give, and my friend Brian and Sue are prime examples of this. They're right down here, down the road. And when Brian retired, he retired earlier than his wife. His wife is still working. He had to have something to retire to. First and foremost, Brian has his hobbies he does and his routine, which is great, but he's cleaning the house. We're doing because we're a team. So that's the first thing. He has to have something to retire to. If you don't have something to retire to, why am I going to retire?
And that often, and we've had this conversation before. So you'll have the conversation, you'll say you need to find a purpose in retirement. Is that what we're talking about here?
Absolutely right, Mark. If you don't, all of a sudden the minutes become hours. And I always remember my mom when I was a young boy, and I'd be telling her I was in high school, I said, I couldn't wait for this football game. I couldn't wait for this day. I couldn't wait for this. And she kept telling me, stop wishing your life away because the time goes by really quick. And when you're younger, it seemed to me like time just drug along.
Yeah. Now
I'm in my older age, mid-50s, late 50s, and the days fly by. The hours, the moments, because I'm on a schedule, right? We have appointments. We're working with people. I'm living my life. I'm a father, which I've been for 30 plus years. I'm a grandpa, a papu, so I'm really excited. But time goes by really fast because I have something to look forward to. The minute you retire and you wake up saying, what's now?
Yeah.
I think it starts to drag and it starts to hurt. And then I think you see people with not having a reason to get out, not having a reason to mingle. Folks, when you retire, you got to have a plan. And I think that's really what's so important, Mark, is having a plan about retirement. And we're not just talking about financially, because our financial plan will be in place. And unfortunately, people getting ready to retire in the next 5 years, most of them do not have a financial retirement plan in place yet. you need to call 302-330-2166 and let's help you get that written plan in place, because you need to see it in black and white. It can't be up here in your head, folks. It has to be on paper. You have to understand where you're at, where you're going, where the money's going to come from, how am I going to take my money, and can I get there? But we need to see a plan, how that's going to work. We also need a daily routine when you retire. Because right now, Mark, I get up at 5:30, 5 o'clock. I let the dogs out. I start their water. I feed the dogs. I feed the cat. I take a shower. I give Les a kiss, hug him a kiss before all that happens. I get dressed for work. I come to work. I have my routine.
Yeah.
I'm at work at 7 o'clock. I have my routine, how I go. In retirement, you need a routine, whether it's getting up, having breakfast, taking the dog for a walk, going for a walk, going to the library, charity work. You want to have the plans in place. And it has to be playing golf, whatever it is, it has to be lined up for you.
Yeah.
But that's really why I think Miss Terry is telling her husband what to do. I kind of find that should already be laid out, I think, doing the trash and making the bed.
Maybe because Nick Saban's been gone for so long coaching football that he's just not, like, there was these old rumors that even on Christmas morning, Saban would come down, open presents, and then go back upstairs and keep watching film. So now maybe she gets to say, all right, it's my turn to run this house.
To be the boss.
To be the boss.
And I never heard about leaving some food on the plate is a sign how good it was.
I don't know what that is. Is that an old school?
I've never left that before, so I don't know what that's like.
I'll make sure you don't leave food on your plate either.
Exactly. And that's what I get yelled at most of the time. Like, ooh, can I have a piece of that? Ooh, a piece of
but I grew up with nothing but boys in the household. I mean, if you don't eat yours, it's going to get ate.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm. So instead of having like the Saban 12 commandments of his retirement, you almost have your 3 most important commandments. And we're talking about a purpose, a plan, and a routine. And you help build that for the families you serve.
Absolutely. Because we don't just do the financial part. We're going to ask, I want you to do what you want. And maybe you want to play golf every day. Maybe you want to go fishing every day. Maybe you want to go shopping with your wife as a couple instead of coming home and saying, what was this? But that's what it's about. We work 90,000 hours, folks. Think about that. 90,000 hours. I think it's time to enjoy ourselves.
Agreed.
And have a life because you deserve it. Get to know each other again, right?
Don't be afraid to date your wife again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start dating again. Oh, by the way, when you do a retirement plan with me, one of the things I put down as an expense, and it's budgeted in there, and it's in bold letters, is date night.
There it is.
You got to have that time. Yep.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.